going on, everybody? It's Monday the 25th of May, bank holiday weekend, probably the nicest day in Scotland so far. And yeah, we're just out for a walk with Tokyo and Pauline, fan favorite. First off, I want to give a quick shout out to Deborah, one of our athletes. Just having a conversation about how she enjoys the vlogs, and I said, of course, got to give you a special shout out. So there you go. And I did say hi to Pauline as well. So do you want to say anything back to Deborah?
Hi, Deborah.
I know she's invited us out to California if we ever.
Oh,
yeah. So.
yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I've got work to do today as usual. Calls later on, but I actually had a bit of a window in the middle of the day where I could get out and go rowing. And yeah, I want to talk a bit more about the first race that I've entered since retiring from GB rowing and how I'm feeling about it. So yeah, let's do it. Bye.
Bye.
Performative relationship things. Yes. Good job. Bye. Have fun at the beach. Bye.
Sure.
And yeah, I think I want to keep this channel completely honest and just no bullshit. And as somebody who is an online rowing coach, and someone who has competed at a high level, a lot of what we talk about is, the lessons I learned and where I got to in my rowing and what you can learn to kind of get to that point in the limited amount of time that you have. And yeah, through that I want to be a good example. And I think technically it's easy to show it in terms of the way I train. It's easy to show it, but yeah, the mindset to me feels a little bit more rusty, because going into this, honestly, I feel pressure. And it's interesting to think about where it comes from. What am I worried about? And I do feel like a large part of it is just I'm conditioned to think racing and pressure are often the same, they go hand in hand, and a lot of the mindset stuff that we teach is about how you can combat that and deal with that, but it's always there. You don't learn to ignore it, you just learn to get better at handling it. And in the same way, I think you can be rusty with your technique, or you can be rusty with your training. I think you can be rusty with your mindset as well. It's part of just what I'm feeling a little bit right now. And it's maybe good for me to talk about what I want to get out of, racing. Why am I going back to it? And honestly, a big thing for me is just to have fun and to have some structure and to create some accountability for myself to do rowing, and to help myself prioritize training and health a little bit more, because when there is a race in the calendar, I definitely do that. When I was training for the half marathon, it's something that definitely helped. So for rowing, it's, obviously just a way to do that. And before, that was never why I did it. I never entered races. Move over, bro. Fuck me. See, why do people think that they can just drive on the other side of the line and it's fine? What's that about? Anyways, at the same time, I also think it's kind of a cool way of me sort of documenting what I do and, being a good example and having a good framework. And yeah, I'll be honest, I do feel like it's kind of an irrational thing, but I do feel like part of our reputation is not on the line, but gets represented by the results of the outcome. And that's something that we just do not coach at all in people, where they talk about being worried about that. So it kind of gets to my point where I view this and documenting this as openly as possible as a chance to be an example of how I feel everybody should approach racing, regardless of what level you're at, what you're shooting for, if you're going for the Olympics or you're just, entering your first race ever. And it should always be about what can you do in the time that you have, in the processes that you can control to get better as a rower, and therefore as without getting too woo-woo, as a person. And I think rowing's just such a good opportunity to do that. So for this, I feel like there's a stigma as well around former elite rowers coming back to sport, because it can maybe tarnish their name or tarnish the results that they did. And I feel like that is actually quite a good opportunity for me to put myself out there and say, hey, my big mindset struggle right now is the pressure that I feel around whether it's rational, irrational, conscious, subconscious, like the pressure I feel about the results that are, previously associated with me, which was in the GB rowing team, 551 2K, at the top of my game, to then, getting beaten by people who I used to beat by miles. So that friction for me is just a way for me, I think, to openly document my ups and downs with it and how I'm gonna experience it all. So I'm basically just fucking throwing myself out there, gonna try and be as open and as honest as I can be to show you how I feel like you should approach these challenges. We'll see. Anyways, look, I have no idea what to expect here going into the Scott Champs final, and I think maybe in terms of like a goal, I don't know, I would like to come like A final. I think I'd be very happy if I got in the A final, but I know that there's quite a lot of competition to get into the A final. So yeah, I feel like, top 10 I'd be satisfied with. Who knows, it's the first one, so I'm kind of just excited to go into the unknown and see. And yeah, look, even as I talk here, I'm genuinely just like, fuck, how is this sounding? Do I sound like I'm just being a little like am I embarrassed about the fact that I'm nervous to race this race and that I'm worried about the results? But again, for me, it's just about like, right, let's be as open as we can be and just no filter. My story, when I was younger, I used to get bullied. And anyways, long story short, a big part of me stepping out of that was starting to be more open and honest and just like not holding back. And if I felt a certain way, just saying it. And for me, it was kind of always almost like an exercise of like confidence in myself to just put it out there. And anytime I've done that, I've just never been met with nothing more than either nothing or positivity from other people, and obviously on social media as well. So yeah, just came in there, only did like 6K with a 1K. I think it's partially the rig, the shape of the seat, and also probably just my old back injury, but I just get like, my back was feeling a little bit like tight and stuff like that there, and then during the 1K, I was feeling like numbness in my leg, which is normally, I think it's absolutely fine. I think it's mainly the seat, but I've just not been doing any prehab stuff and much core and much mobility, so it's probably just a sign I need to start doing that. But yeah, I probably could have pushed through it, but I've got a flight to Massachusetts tomorrow where we're doing some in-person coaching. Some of our clients, they're on a package where we go to them and coach them one-to-one in person, so I'm doing that this week, partially why I'm getting a session in on Monday. But yeah, anyways, for the 1K was actually pretty good. It was like 156 at 26, 153 at 26, and the second half went down to like 152 at like 26, 27, and then at the end towards like 151, 150 at kind of 28, 29, which I'm pretty happy with in terms of numbers. Those conditions are about as fast as the park gets. Just a nice light tailwind. It's a pretty slow lake because the water's pretty cold. Being at a lower rate really helped it feel good. And I think before I've been trying, anytime I've done race rate stuff, I've tried to force the higher stroke rate, just because that's how I used to go fast. But I think now, especially having not done any rate work, I'll probably just do Scott Champs at like 28, maybe 30. Just focus on rowing really efficiently, especially because it's going to be a time trial and then straight to a final. So honestly, my focus is all on the time trial and just going as fast as I can on that and seeing what happens after that. But anyways, I'm going to get a bit more volume in. That was only about 35 minutes of work, so I'm just going to go for a light run. No running shoes, so I'm going to be running in these slippers. I had to go running because my back was ruined, and now I'm going to have to go running in my Vans, which is going to fuck my knees. That'll do. 6K, 6:14 average, 145 average heart rate. It's good enough. Yeah, just given how far I am out from Scott Champs, if I am wanting to do some sort of specific training, now is the point where I should probably do some volume. So I don't know if 30 minutes of rowing and 30 minutes of running really counts so much, but it's better than nothing. And also just probably the nicest day in Scotland so far. This will be one of the nicest days we have all year. End of May in Scotland's normally like really nice, so yeah, I gotta make the most of it. Seeing some of those quicker splits made me feel a bit more confident. However, if you want to improve your mindset, you shouldn't be looking to outcomes for confidence. You shouldn't feel like you need to see certain numbers or have certain feelings to perform at your best. And as much as possible, you kind of want to be gently criticizing yourself, like having this high standard for yourself while at the same time not constantly kicking your head into the curb when things aren't perfect. But if you want to strive to improve your mindset, I'm a big believer that as much as possible you want to remove this thought process of, oh, I need to see really good splits in training, I need to see the ergs go down, I need to technically feel better, I need to be stronger in the gym so that I can then perform at my best. And because if you think like that and then you show up on race day and you feel like shit, or your numbers are slow in paddling just because whatever, it's a slower lake or whatever, your mind's going to be like, well, those numbers aren't there, therefore I can't row to my best. As much as possible in sessions, you should be thinking about, where were you yesterday, where were you last week, what are the processes and intent that on your side of the road, bro, fuck me. What are your processes and intentions that help you get better? And ideally never assess the success of a session or a race or anything based off of the numbers that you saw, but more so, your actual intent to make the change, your approach to the process. So I guess, what my approach to the process was different in that session was I wasn't focusing so much on the numbers, which is kind of ironic, and I was just focusing on I dropped the stroke rate a little bit, just focused on patience, on connection, on clean blade work at the finish, and that was one thing I was playing around with, is letting the work come to me, which I know sounds like some bullshit rowing jargon, but it basically just means not being any rush to get connection and kick it, and not being any rush to kind of get through your drive, but to just be patient on that front and let that work come. And then as you push as well, don't be in any urgency to get out of it, and just kind of hang on it and squeeze and feel and take your time as you push. And yeah, I was feeling that, combined with the really fast conditions, was producing good numbers. And I think it's a balancing act. Like, you know, everybody always likes to see faster numbers. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just don't want it to become the be all and end all for your session. So yeah, I'm gonna go home. I don't know if I'm gonna vlog anymore. Let me know if there's anything else you want to chat about. I feel like I'm on a call. That's what I do at the end of calls. Anyways, bye.